Oh, my name is Jiso and I'm reading Master Dōgen Shōbōgenzō. And we are on chapter 44, Kobusshin, the mind of eternal Buddhas. Ko means old or eternal, the feeling. Butsu means Buddha and Shin means mind. So Kobusshin means the mind of eternal Buddhas. In this chapter, Master Dōgen cites examples of the mind of external Buddhas, quoting Master Tendo Nyojo, Master Engo Kugon, Master Sozan Konin, and Master Seppo Gison. Then he explains a story about National Master Daisho, Master Nanyo Etchu, and his disciple, that suggests the oneness of the mind of eternal Buddhas and miscellaneous concrete things. At the end of the chapter, he quotes Master Zengo Chuko's words on the matter. Okay, let's go. The succession of the Dharma by ancestral patriarchs is 40 patriarchs from the 7 Buddhas to Sokai and 40 Buddhas from Sokai to the 7 Buddhas. Because each of the 7 Buddhas has the virtue of ascending and of descending, they extend to Sokai and extend to the 7 Buddhas. Because Sokai has the virtue of ascending and of descending, he receives the authentic transmission from the 7 Buddhas. He receives the authentic transmission from Sokai, and he passes the authentic transmission to later Buddhas. But it is beyond only former and later. At the time of Shakyamuni Buddha, all the Buddhas of the 10 directions are present. At the time of Saigen, Nangaku is present. At the time of Nangaku, Saigen is present, and so on. At the time of Sekito, Kozai is present. They're not hindering each other, may be different from having no connection. We should investigate the presence of such virtue. Each of the 40 Buddhist patriarchs mentioned above is an eternal Buddha. At the same time, each has a mind, a body, a state of brightness, and a national land. Each has passed away long ago and has never passed away at all. It may be that both never having passed away and having passed away long ago are equally the virtue of the eternal Buddha. Those who learn and practice the truth of eternal Buddhas realize and experience the truth of eternal Buddhas. They are the eternal Buddhas of each age. Although the eternal of eternal Buddhas is exactly the same as the old in new and old eternal Buddhas have completely transcended past and present, they belong directly in eternity. Lots of footnotes there. Although the eternal is in quotes, literally means old and ancient, is exactly the same as the old, ancient, present, means not only past and present or ancient and modern times, but also all ages or eternity. They have completely transcended past and present. Oh, sorry, I'm missing a 4 was over the page, sorry. Oh, that's Master, okay. The old is Master Sekito Kisen. Right, they belong directly in eternity, again, old or ancient. Although the eternal of eternal Buddhas is exactly the same as the old in new and old, eternal Buddhas have completely transcended past and present. They belong directly in eternity. My late master says, I have met with the eternal Buddha Wanchi. Clearly an eternal Buddha is present in the house of Tendo, and Tendo is present in the house of an eternal Buddha. Zen Master Engo says, I bow to the ground before the true eternal Buddha Sokai. Remember, we should bow down to the 33rd patriarch from Shakyamuni Buddha, bowing to him as an eternal Buddha. Because Zen Master Engo has the resplendent brightness of an eternal Buddha, in the state of having met with an eternal Buddha, he is able to prostrate himself like this. This being so, mindful of the state of Sokai, which is rightful from beginning to end, we should remember that eternal Buddhas are the grasping of a nose ring like this. Grasping of the nose refers to the ring used to lead a water buffalo by the nose. It suggests humility and self-control. Okay. Eternal Buddhas are the grasping of a nose ring like this. One who has the ability to grasp a nose ring is just an eternal Buddha. All right. Sōzan says, on the peak of Dai-yu-rei mountain, an eternal Buddha is present, and he is radiating brightness that shines on this place. There's a story behind this. Let's read the full story. Master Sōzen asks a monk how much the monk intends to pay a craftsman for building a monument, 3 coins, 2 coins, or 1 coin. The monk goes to see Master Razan Dōgen, who resides in a hut on Dai-yu mountain. Master Razan recommends the monk to take the middle way. Hearing this, Master Sōzen prostrates himself towards Dai-yu-rei mountain and says, I had thought there was no one, but on the peak of Dai-yu-rei mountain an eternal Buddha is present, and he is radiating brightness that shines on this place. Okay. Okay. Remember, Sōzan has already met with an eternal Buddha. We need not search elsewhere. The place where an eternal Buddha exists is the peak of Dai-yu-rei mountain. Those who themselves are not eternal Buddhas cannot know the place where eternal Buddhas appear. One who knows the concrete place where an eternal Buddha exists may be an eternal Buddha. Seppo says, the eternal Buddha Joshu. Goto Igen, chapter 7, relates that on hearing the words of Master Joshu Jushin, Seppo says the eternal Buddha Joshu, he does prostrations towards Joshu and subsequently does not converse. Remember, even though Joshu is an eternal Buddha, if Seppo had not been endowed with his own share of an eternal Buddha's power, it might be hard for him to realize the secret of how to pay homage to an eternal Buddha. In his action now, as he relies on the influence of an eternal Buddha and learns from an eternal Buddha, there is effort beyond conversing, which is, in other words, old man Seppo, the great stout fellow himself. The everyday customs of eternal Buddhas and the dignified behavior of eternal Buddhas are not similar to and never the same as those of people who are not eternal Buddhas. This being so, by learning in practice the state of Joshu, which is good in the beginning, middle, and end, we should learn in practice the lifetime of an eternal Buddha. Good in the beginning, middle, and end. It's a phrase from the Lotus Sutra. Should learn in practice the lifetime, the Tathagata's lifetime. Again, that's the Lotus Sutra. National Master Daisho of Kotakuji Temple in the Western capital, which refers to the area of China now called Liueyang, is a Dharma successor of Sokai, revered and venerated by human emperors and celestial emperors alike, and one who is rarely seen and heard even in China. Not only is he the teacher of 4 generations of emperors, but the emperors themselves lead his carriage into the imperial court. Still more, invited to the palace of the god Indra, he ascends far into the heavens, and for Indra among celestial multitudes, he preaches the Dharma. Impressive. The national master is once asked by a monk, "What is the mind of eternal Buddhas?" The master says, "Fences, walls, tiles, and pebbles." The question says, "This has got it," and says, "That has got it." The monk has taken this expression of the truth and made it into a question. And this question far and wide has become the eternal expression of the truth. Thus, myriad trees and hundreds of weeds which are flowers opening are eternal Buddha's expressions of the truth and eternal Buddha's questions. The 9 mountains and 8 oceans which are the occurrence of the world are eternal Buddha's sun faces and moon faces and eternal Buddha's skin, flesh, bones and marrow. Furthermore, there may be instances of the eternal mind practicing Buddha. There may be instances of the eternal mind experiencing Buddha. There may be instances of the eternal mind making Buddha. And there may be instances of the eternity of Buddha making up a mind. The reason we speak of the eternal mind is that the mind is eternal. Because the unity of the mind and Buddha is inevitably eternal, the eternal mind is a chair of bamboo and wood, is not being able to find a person who understands the Buddha Dharma, even if we search the whole earth, and is the master calling this what? The moment and causes and conditions of the present, and the lands of dust and space of the present, are both nothing other than the eternal mind. They maintain and rely upon the eternal mind, and they maintain and rely upon the eternal state of Buddha. It is maintenance and reliance upon 2 heads with 1 face, 2 things in a picture. The Master says fences, walls, tiles and pebbles. The point here is that there is a line of attack whereby facing fences, walls, tiles and pebbles, we express them. Fences, walls, tiles and pebbles. And there is another mode of expression. There is a line of retreat whereby inside the concrete place of fences, walls, tiles and pebbles, fences, walls, tiles and pebbles speak. In the state of round realization and perfect realization in which these expressions are realized, there are walls standing 1,000 feet or 10,000 feet high. There are fences standing around the earth and around the heavens. There is the covering of a tile or half a tile, and there are sharp edges of pebbles, big ones and small ones. What exists like this is not only the mind, but also the body itself, and even subject and object and subject is what he actually says. This being so, we should ask and we should say, what are fences, walls, tiles and pebbles? And if we want to converse, we should answer, the mind of eternal Buddhas. Maintaining and relying upon the state like this, we should investigate further. Just what are fences and walls? What do we call fences and walls? With what form and stages are they furnished at this moment? We should investigate them like this in detail. Are fences and walls caused to appear through a process of production made by building? Has the connotation of human intentionality or enforcement? Are fences and walls caused to appear through a process of production, or is production caused to appear on the basis of fences and walls? Are they products or are they beyond production? Should we see them as sentient or as insentient? Are they appearing before us now, or are they beyond appearance in the present? In the state like this of mental effort and of learning and practice, whether it is in the heavens above or in the human world, and whether it appears in this land or in other worlds, the mind of eternal Buddhas is fences, walls, tiles and pebbles. No additional speck of dust has ever protruded to taint it. Great Master Zengen Chuko, the story goes, is asked by a monk, what is the mind of eternal Buddhas? The Master says, the world is shattered. The monk says, why is the world shattered? The Master says, how is it possible to be without our own body? As regards this world, its 10 directions are totally the world of Buddha. and there has never been any world that is not the world of Buddha. As regards the form and stages of being shattered, we should learn them in practice in this whole world in 10 directions, never learning them as self. Because we do not learn them as self, the very moment of shatteredness is 1 thing, 2 things, 3, 4, and 5 things, and therefore limitless things. Each thing is its own body in the undecided state of being without. Our own body is the undecided state of being without. Do not selfishly begrudge the moment of the present and thus fail to make our own body into the mind of eternal Buddhas. Truly, prior to the 7 Buddhas, the mind of eternal Buddhas stands as a wall, and after the 7 Buddhas, the mind of eternal Buddhas sprouts. Prior to all the Buddhas, the mind of eternal Buddhas flowers, and after all the Buddhas, the mind of eternal Buddhas bears fruit. Prior to the mind of eternal Buddhas, the mind of eternal Buddhas is liberated. Shōbōgenzō Kobusshin, preached to the assembly at Rokuhara Mitsuji Temple on the 29th day of the 4th lunar month in the 1st year of Kangen, 1243. Good. Thanks for listening. Take care.